Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 1993 Cadillac Sedan DeVille. Up front is a 4.9 liter V8 and down below is a 4-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this Cadillac Sedan DeVille because 1993 was the final year of this body style, and as we'll take a look at, everything from Cadillac's lineup was starting to become modernized, curvy, round, different engines and things like that. So this car was really the last stake in the ground holding down old Cadillac, and today we're going to be taking a thorough look at this one. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that 4.9 liter V8 with digital port fuel injection, with only port fuel injection being the advertised verbiage in that name. Well, it's not fast. It's a very lazy V8, but that's exactly what you want in a vehicle like this. It absolutely floats and is completely unbothered by any sort of input that you want. You put your foot down, it's still going to move at a leisurely pace, but it has a very strong leisurely pace, if that makes sense. It wafts you forward, and that's what I love to feel out of a Cadillac. This is a very older style Cadillac, where modern Cadillac, like the CT5V that I recently drove, that has a very highly tuned, it's a highly pitchy engine, it's wah, wah, wah. This has none of that. This is all about serenity. It's all about smooth silkiness. It's not trying to get in your face. It's not trying to put out big numbers. And this is the last year before they switched over to the North Star V8, and we know how that went. Like I said, paired to it is a 4-speed automatic. Honestly, it's very smooth. It hasn't really been bothering me while shifting. It's not bucking, it's not kicking its heels, it's not throwing a hissy fit, and I like all of that. Last but not least about the drivetrain, this Sedan DeVille is front-wheel drive. So how does it feel to drive the Sedan DeVille? Well, it's actually worryingly calm. I am almost scared that I might fall asleep behind the wheel of this vehicle. Now, of course, it is pretty warm today, and I had a hefty lunch, so maybe that's me. But the owner, Richard, takes a lot of pride in maintaining that ride quality. He's always fixing things and making sure that it still has that signature quality ride, and I think he's done a very good job at it. Visibility is pretty good, especially given the fact that the A-pillars are relatively thin. And overall, it is a very, very pleasurable experience. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior, because we have quite a bit going on here. Well, in front of me, I do have a physical speedometer. This is a standard speedometer that you would see in pretty much any other vehicle from the earlier era. But down below, we have our fuel data center and fuel in tank. We have our information center. And off to the right, we have our climate controls. Very, very old school to have the climate controls more towards the driver than in the center where the passenger could reach it. This is your car. We also have window locks. We have another badge saying information center. And to the left, we have our Twilight Sentinel, headlight switch, and a climate vent up at the top. Moving on to the door, we do have the latch to get in and out, the lock and unlock, power mirrors, power windows, and our power seat adjustment. This is all found on the door. Again, a very old school way of doing things. Moving into the center, we get 2 climate control vents and this nice stretching leather with Cadillac on it. We have DeVille on the glove box, and then we have our traditional radio. Now, this radio was in everything from the Cimarron up to the Sedan DeVille, and so it's a pretty well-known friend at this point. I love its auto-reversing cassette player and its different equalizer settings. We do have a pull-out ashtray and cigarette lighter that looks like it's never been used. And in the center console, we do have pop-out cup holders. Now, unfortunately, it fails the big friggin' bottle test. To be expected, but still cool to have cup holders back in '93. Now, where those cup holders came from is the center console, which connects the 2 seats. It is technically a bench seat up here at the front. I personally probably would not want to ride in the middle on a long road trip, but it did have a front bench seat, which I absolutely adore. You sink into these seats like molten marshmallow. It is glorious, and this is what Cadillac used to be. Throughout the 70s and 80s, they had such a high focus on seat comfort, and I think that that's gone away since then. But man, If I could take these out and put these in my living room, I would, because they are just so darn comfortable. However, speaking of seats, what are equally comfortable are the back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 93 Sedan DeVille, and as I called it, this is incredibly comfortable. The seats, you sink right into them like you've done it a million times before, even if this is your first time in the Sedan DeVille. Everything is plush and comfortable. If you do end up swaying while driving, your legs aren't going to hit anything hard. This is all padded. Not in like a white padded room situation, but just in, every space in here, every surface was well thought of. Some designer at Cadillac didn't just draw up a little door handle and said, oh, that's it, call it a day. No, he thought, well, what if you bump into it? What if you do touch it? What's that experience going to be for the owner? The experience is wonderful. I can stretch out. I'm not hitting the front seat. I probably have about a foot between my knee and front seat. And that's not a birth defect. That's actually, a unit of measurement. I don't have a foot on my knee. I get these lights over my shoulder. Absolutely wonderful. If I would like to do some light reading in the back of the Sedan DeVille, I can do that. I can do that in comfort. And that is a very nice thing. Let's hop into the very back, because not only do we have a lot of trunk space, but we have some goodies back there. And then we'll talk about the looks. All right, so we're on the back of the Sedan DeVille, and we do have the circle badge to open it up. Or circle key. I don't know why I said badge. You have to move the badge to the side in order to open it up. Once we are back here, the owner left us some really cool goodies. First of all, this is the original sale of the vehicle, and this is the inspection sheet. Very cool. That is the original license plate that was assigned to it. This is the dealer plate. It was sold at Don Macy Cadillac. Very cool. And then we have the booklet. So as you can see, this is for 93, and these are all the other Cadillac models for 93. You could tell that they have this really curvy design. This was kind of a sore thumb in their lineup, and they changed that for 94, at least in terms of styling. So you could see all this curviness, swoopiness starting to invade. This, maybe that's a little bit more traditional, but you could tell that this 93 Sedan DeVille kind of didn't fit with everything else. And so tons of really cool things to look at back here. Obviously, the trunk is huge, and they gave you an actual sample of cologne when you purchased your Cadillac. And this actually has a calculator in it and the pen. So very cool user handbook manual. Lots of cool history here in the trunk of this 93 Sedan DeVille. Now we gotta talk about the looks. And again, this is where you'll mostly notice where this is the old school Cadillac tossing in the towel for the final year. It's very boxy. It's very 80s. If you looked at this, you'd probably say, yeah, that's from 87, but it's not. This is 93. And so you could tell that the style was starting to go out of style. It was starting to age out a little bit. However, I like that classic look. Looking at it now here with 2025 lenses, I like the look of this. It's very unapologetically Cadillac. The hard edges let you know that it's here and it's something to behold. This doesn't try to sugarcoat its presence in your driveway or down the boulevard. It is a Cadillac. And that is a glorious feeling. However, with all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the 93 Sedan DeVille? Yet again, I've actually driven a 92. Well, of course I enjoy this experience, and I've always enjoyed this era of Cadillac. This is one of my favorite eras, and I like the comfiness. I like this cool, early technology in here, the digital screens for the average MPG, miles per gallon, and things like that. I like all of that together, but I like the old school style. And cars like this just make me so comfortable. The nostalgia is warm and welcoming, and we like nostalgia because it's set in stone and it's personal to us. My nostalgia might not be warm and fuzzy to you, or your nostalgia might not be warm and cozy to me, but this vehicle fits your nostalgia very perfectly. It's comfortable. It knows what it is. There's no guesswork. There's no chance that they're going to cancel this model because they already did several decades ago. It's done. It's over. The last chapter has been written. And so nostalgia is great because it's a finished product. It's done. It's over with. And you can go and read it and you can go back and enjoy it anytime you want. It's like your favorite video game or movie. Why do we gravitate towards old movies? We already know what happens. Well, that's the comfort in knowing. There's no guesswork. You're not sitting there at minute 91 saying, what the heck is going to happen? You know what's going to happen, and you know it's going to be good. You know that it's going to be okay. This car, because it's done and over with, lets me know that it is okay. I can drive one of these and I can revert back to a time where these were new. I can revert back to a time of safety where the world wasn't so imposing, where I knew what I wanted. It's not as scary as the modern world, and so slipping into this might as well be a time machine. That's why nostalgic vehicles are so comfortable to us, and that's why I love reviewing them, because I get to take a step out of my normal hectic busy day on social media and pings and notifications and emails and Zoom calls. I get to stop all of that. I get to sit in here. It's 1993 again. I'm on my way to Grandma's house. She's still around. She's still baking her famous cookies. And life is okay. We romanticize the past because it's safe. And this is a safe place. This is an automotive safe place. And for as long as I can sit here, I'm going to enjoy that. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Richard for letting me borrow his Cadillac Sedan DeVille. He's absolutely wonderful. We are reviewing a few of his Cadillacs here today. This was my first pick, and I was excited to share it with you, but I want to end this video in a slightly different way. If your life is hectic right now, if you don't know what's going on, I want you to take a break. I'm going to leave a minute or so of just quiet footage sitting here in the Sedan DeVille. Feel free to replay it as many times as you need if you just need a pause from your hectic life. This is a safe space for you. Take care, guys.